what we was gonna change the city out first, and then do the county.
I don't necessarily know why they picked one versus the other.
Well, I could have seen the city because you could have boom, boom, boom right there a little closer and working everything in.
Yeah.
And with them doing the
Maybe
county.
they wanted to end on an easier note rather than
Well,
start.
maybe, I guess, I don't know, but that's what they.
Yeah, I'm worried that they're going to have trouble. They've had so many people leave and turnover that they might not find them all. But I think they said Mike painting up where the meters are. So they can find them.
Well, and I understand when you got new people coming in there. Of course, when Donnie and David was there, when I first went in, and Donnie been in there for 12, 15 years. He knew where everything was at. And
That could be dangerous, you know. I mean, if Janie finds that out, she'll call me up and be like, "Hey, did you do the lines on such and such road?"
He always says
And
no.
I always do say no. She always asks me about something that I didn't do.
yeah. Well, before Donnie and him left, that was the reason I was out on the road a lot with them and learning where the meters and everything was at.
You can have an uncomfortable situation, you know, where somebody just unexpectedly dies, you know, and then all that knowledge is gone.
Yeah, exactly. And I went out, well, even after Donnie and them left, then Jared was there, and me and Jared rode around one day and went all the way to Boyd Pinhot. We didn't have any. And was talking to me.
Yes. I love your art.
I appreciate it.
Good morning, everyone. Before we start court, whatever it is, court, I'm going to ask Marty Marshall to come up here and lead us in prayer. He is our second round chaplain. This is his second round as a chaplain, and I'll ask him to lead us in prayer.
Let's bow our heads. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day. We thank you for our county officials. And Lord, we just ask that you put a hedge of protection around them. And Lord, we thank you for the job they're doing. And we just ask you to touch every individual that takes care of our county. And Lord, we just ask you to bless them, put a hedge of protection around their hearts and their mind, and bless our nation, this county, and the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, let's call this meeting to order by saying our pledge to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Once again, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My apologies. I think I have left my agenda downstairs. Thank you. First off, we need to approve the minutes. This includes the two special called meetings on, I'm sorry, I don't have those dates directly in front of me.
September the 1st and September the 7th.
Thank you. September 1st, September 7th.
Make a motion to approve the regular minutes and the two special called minutes as presented. Or do you need those separate? You do them all together?
I think we're already doing them all together.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Participate in those two special called meetings in some way. Yeah, there you go.
Did it. You just did it.
Yeah, those meetings were really short, and I'm not going to say it was because you weren't here. But all right, I have a motion and a second. If no other discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up is we have representatives from the Isaiah 117 house. Welcome, Brad.
Good morning, everybody.
Love handouts.
Lori.
Y'all love handouts?
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather give you a sermon, but I'm just going to give you a handout. Miss Lori Gafford back here is the area coordinator, but Isaiah 117 is a nonprofit that basically is coming to Logan County to build a house, buy a house, renovate a house, so that when kids come into the foster care system, instead of having to go to the DCS office, they will go to this house. And this house will be staffed with volunteers that will give them all the things that they need as they come into care for the first 48 hours. In the state of Kentucky, there's a little over 8,000 kids that are in care. Logan County has about 50 kids that are in care right now. And one of the cool things about this thing is the kids will never be out of DCS custody. There will always be a worker there with them. But with this house also provides a place for them to be loved on and to have a workspace that they can find placements. Just not too long ago, they had kids spending the night on the floor at the DCS office here in Logan County. And I think right now in Logan County, there's only 15 homes that are open right now for foster kids. So they're going to have, and they have this, if go check their website out. They've got more pictures of what takes place there. But they have a room that's going to be upstairs of this thing that will have new shoes, new clothes for all these kids that come into care. And it's hard to believe that there are some of these kids that are going to come into care that they've never had a brand new pair of shoes. They've never had new clothes. They've just had hand-me-downs. And so this will be the first one in the state of Kentucky. This will be the first, of course, naturally, if it's the first one in the state of Kentucky, it's going to be the first one in Kentucky, or in Logan County. And one of the things that I want to tell you that the generosity has been so awesome of everything that has taken place here in Logan County so far. We had our kickoff. Lori, where'd you go to? Our kickoff was 2 weeks ago, and we had a good turnout for that. Then you're supposed to be up here helping me on this. I can do the rah-rah stuff, but I need you to do the technical part of it.
The facts.
Every second Sunday of the month at Southern Heights Baptist Church, if you would like to get involved with this, that's where they're having planning meetings. And Lori, would you like to speak to some?
Yeah, we have our expansion meetings now, so we have committees formed. We just had one this Sunday, so we had 5 expansion committees formed, and we had over 100 people show up. So, and after that, we had my emails blew up of people that just couldn't be there or didn't really know what's going on. So we have a lot of events coming in and a lot of money coming in already, and we're not even supposed to have money coming in. So Logan County's been generous to us already. We're just wanting everybody, spreading awareness right now. We want everybody here in Logan County to know we're here, we're coming, and why we want to be here long standing for the children and our cabinet. And we're working hard with the commissioner. That, she knows we're here and why. So just trying to work that out with the cabinet and the commissioner of Kentucky. So we're excited that we are going to be the first ones in Kentucky, and it's going to be right here in Logan County. So that's exciting. So that's why we want you guys to know and just to be working with us too.
Lori and I are both foster parents.
Yeah.
I have closed our home for the time being because I have a little almost 4-year-old girl that takes every extra second that I have along with my son. But if you've never been with a child in the first few minutes that they come into care, it is overwhelming because when they come into care, those foster parents, you've got a matter of hours, like 72 hours, you get them to a doctor, you got to get their eyes checked, you got to get them mental health evaluations. There's all these different things that have to happen in a very short amount of time.
Usually 48 hours.
Yeah, about 48 hours.
Usually.
So, a lot of times when kids come into care, they've got head lice, they don't have clothes. I mean, they get usually when they leave a house, if they have anything, they're going to have a trash bag full of good belongings that come from their house. So Isaiah 117 is basically wanting to turn these kids' worst day of their life. I mean, every kid's going to love their parents, and it's not always going to be a good situation, but we want to try to help make one of the worst days of their life at least a good day in their life. And if you go in and check out Isaiah 117, go to their YouTube page, check out some of their testimonials, you will be blown away about how this ministry has transformed foster care in the cities that it is in.
It changes the way foster care begins on their removal day. It's the whole.
Where are you both from?
I am the pastor of New Vision Community Church here in Russellville, Kentucky.
In Russellville.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I've been here all my life. I'm from South Logan, but I've ended up in North Logan.
Well.
So I'm here. I'm grounded and haven't never left, so I'm here.
Well, my question is, you say this will be the first one in Kentucky?
Yes.
And is there a reason that Logan County was chosen for the first one?
We reached out.
Okay.
I'm part of the foster association here in Logan County, and there's about 5 foster moms that between us we have 24 children, and we couldn't take any more. And I have 7 children myself, and my house is full.
Superheroes.
I don't have any more room in my house. And every time that phone rings for, can you take another child? No, ma'am, I can't take any more children. But there are children sleeping in Logan County's office in the cabinet's floor on a mattress, and that broke our hearts. So we knew they're
Still?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Every day, we're in the Two Rivers region, which is 17 counties. And if there's children that do not have a foster home, he said 15, but right now there's about 10 foster homes
So
in
it's went
Logan
down,
County.
okay.
So it's went down because we've closed our homes. I closed our home recently because we just do respite, and now I'm the expansion coordinator for Isaiah 117, so we just can't do it. We saw a need, and we reached out because there's 19 open homes in 10 states right now, and this started in Carter County, Tennessee, by Rhonda Paulson, and it is operating beautifully in 19 homes in 10 states. They're a 501c residential home, and they partner with the states. And so we reached out to them, and we've been working on this for about 1.5 years.
Is this their home?
That is
that's
a
one of the
home
newest
in
ones.
Tennessee.
That's the one in Tennessee.
That's one
When you
of
go
them.
to their website, they will show you all the
Yeah.
different homes
You
that
can
they
go
have.
look at all their locations.
The very first one was actually a house that was in Elizabeth in Tennessee, and they renovated an older house, but they have the red door on them. They all kind of have some
They
similarities.
all look
to them.
alike.
Oh, I see.
They all look alike. So that's why it's coming here, because we saw the need here in our county. And so we've had to jump some loops because Kentucky didn't have one. And so we have to have that. We had to go through the commissioner, through Frankfurt, and attorneys. And so, we couldn't just say we want it here because we have to partner with the cabinet.
Those are all questions I had. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
just answered
Yes,
up front.
yes.
The first
So-
placement that we got when we became foster parents, it was a removal. We had to go to Bowling Green because they couldn't find anybody. And these kids had gotten removed from their home like at 10 o'clock that morning. We did not pick them up at 10 o'clock that night. And so that means that all day long that they had been in that DCS office. And that is, very briefly tell them about the last placement that you had where you picked them up at.
I picked my little boy up on 106 in Quality at a church parking lot at 9 o'clock at night. That's how he met me, with nothing. He had nothing, and he never went back to his home. We adopted him. It was a quick emergency removal, a very violent.
How old we're talking about?
He was 5, and he come out of his removal with an officer, and it was very dangerous. So they removed him quickly with no belongings, and he was dirty, no clothes, and one toy, Hot Wheel toy, and he never went back to his house. And I received him. His worker was tired, and it was a hard removal for her. So this is why we want this house here, because it will change that. And the first view of me was in Quality, Kentucky, in a church parking lot with no lights, and the only lights were her car and my car. And he jumped out and got in my car, and we took off to Lewisburg, Kentucky. So it will change for children to come into this home, and it's loving and volunteer run and food and toys, and we can't change the trauma, but we can change the way they enter, and that's why we're here. And we saw that need as foster parents, and we work closely with the cabinet, and we know them personally because I grew up, and so those cabinet workers work where they're pulled away at night, all night long, away from their families, and they shouldn't be. It's hard for them too. So if their pulled away from their families, they're sleeping in a DCS office as well. So we want to lavish, it's the threefold for the mission of Isaiah 117. We try to reduce the trauma for children. Obviously, it's all about the children, but we want to lighten load for the child welfare offices and services, and we want to ease the transition for a foster family. So when they come to Isaiah 117, we're going to have everything they need also. We're going to have car seats. We're going to have, if they need a baby bed, we're going to have it. If they need a mattress for a twin bed, yes, we're going to go get it. We're going to try to give them food for 3 days. We're going to have meals in our freezers, and we're going to have anything that they can need. We're going to try to make that happen in this house.
And one of the other things that Isaiah House, the little room here on the side of here, that is a room that when, as kids are having their visits, instead of them having to go to the DCS office, they can go to the Isaiah House, and instead of it being like an office setting or a wore out couch or whatever it may be, they get to go to the Isaiah House. There's a place back there where they can prepare a meal for them, where they can see, so that the workers can see that the parents are working their plan that they're supposed to do. And it's just a great tool for our community. And when you get the opportunity, I mean, kids, we can't help what the kids go through at all. And parents are going to make poor choices. It's been like that since the beginning of time. But one of the other things that we can do is we can help make their first day in care a great day. I feel good about that.
Well, we want to reunify children with their parents. That is obvious. That's the obvious and the best thing for a child. So if we can help that, also, if a parent is working their case, we want to give them a visitation space instead of, I had a foster child come into my home, and her visitation space was the parking lot at Lost River Coffee, and she had to remove her from me screaming because she didn't want to go. She didn't want to go with me. I'm not her mom. She wanted to go with her mom, and that's nothing. There's no dignity in that. She should not have to be ripped away from the foster mom to go with me when she really wanted to go with her mom. So we should make better choices for that, and if we can have this home, she can go into this visitation space, and we can give the mother a dignity, and she can have services. We can give her those services. We should give that for them. So
my daughter that I have adopted now, we got her at 6 weeks old. By the time that she was a year, when we were still doing the visitations, to this day, when we drive by the DCS office, she still tenses up. Mm-hmm. That's how much trauma that it does to these kids. Yeah. And we've had her since she was 6 weeks old. And we got to adopt her, and now if you come to New Vision Community Church, she thinks that she runs the show.
She does.
She does.
She does.
So, but thank y'all so very much, and we'll be looking forward about this, and cannot wait till we have a groundbreaking or whatever it is that we get to do next, and getting some money from y'all eventually.
Thank you. Thank you for all your work.
Appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you. Next up, approved bills and/or supplement bill list.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Treasurer's report. Miss Amanda.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have two things for you this morning. Normally I would have my financial statement, but I've had some computer issues and lots of projects, so I'll have that for you at the next court meeting. But today I do have a list of budget transfers that we need to have approved.
Make a motion to approve the budget transfers as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And I also have some cash transfers. Today, we need to transfer $150,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the General Fund.
So moved.
I like it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
I need to transfer $150,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the Jail Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get a second? Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you, Chris. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
I need to transfer $10,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the LGEA Fund.
So moved. Second.
What is the LGE?
Local Government Economic Assistance. So that's the fund where we do the animal shelters, things from.
Like
We
the
do
last-
economic development through there. We do a lot of our contributions to the Tobacco Festival and the fair and all that stuff
From this,
from that fund.
There's no further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And I need to transfer $35,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the 911 Fund.
So moved.
Second.
So, there you go.
No,
Sorry,
that's
Chris. I'm
good.
not hearing you
That's good.
today. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And that's all I have for you this morning.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you. Next up, the road work request, District 1.
District 1, Kelly, we met out there on Palmetto and 79 Loop. I know it's going to be done when it gets colder, but just want to put it on the record on those drainage issues, and we got permission from the homeowner on the corner there to do some ditch work. So other than that, continue maintenance. Appreciate everything.
District 2.
I've talked with Kelly and we've got to get into more conversation with him about the Howell Angel Road. It's been a little bit of a mix-up about dates so we're going to get through that and try to get it. I'm going to try to get it back on the map for county roads.
Okay.
And also, I've gotten with Kelly about grinding the stumps after the storm cleanup in the dock community. I know you're going to do that. And then talk to you about the ditch on Spring Valley. Just wanted to get everybody up to date on that if they're watching. But thank you all for everything you do. Y'all have really been at it.
District 3.
Kelly, I just added the things I've already shared with the Bailey Banton tree trimming and the stop signs or signs at Lawrence. Other than that, appreciate all that you do for us.
District 4. Asphalt's washing out in the curve down there, starting to, where the water always goes over. So whatever we can do to ease the pain there would be awesome. Just continue maintenance. Thank you.
District 5.
Mostly, we've kept in contact and you know what we need. But I do have two questions. Do you all do children at play signs? You don't. I had a constituent very worried about that with fast traffic and children out in the road. So that's not something. Okay.
Kids should not be playing in the road. That's the reason.
Well,
Children.
But I did promise.
That's giving children the permission to play in the road and traffic to be
Well,
at
they're
their
not
discretion.
his children, and he's worried about them. And I actually commend this gentleman for asking me, because they're not his.
You can request a speed limit.
That's right.
Yeah, my first question I covered, so. The other thing I want to thank you about the work on Shaker Bend, because that was a lot of work. And the homeowner has really done his part, so thank you for following up on that. And then on Longview Lane, thank you for that too, because it should be ready for garbage trucks and school buses soon. Thank you very much.
This your 6.
I need a little ditch work on Carter Road, right there, kind of between, Mr. Scarborough, Hambone, Scarborough, I don't know the Hambone's first name, call him Hambone. And Mrs. Carpenter, a couple places right there they'd like for us to look at, and I just told them I'd get with you and we'd go down there and look at them. Continue maintenance, everything looks great, appreciate all the mowing and mosquito spraying. Thank you very much.
I should have said this before we started on the road work, but I've had a couple people message me that watch online, and when this side of the table is presenting their road work request and we turn to him, they can't hear us. So I don't know if how we maybe have Kelly come up here in the future.
Thing, not a video.
Kelly, we need your face up here on camera from
Well,
now
I'm
on.
saying when we turn back to this.
And I agree with that. So,
Well, maybe for
So this
future.
side of the table might have to start disrespecting you while we're talking to you.
Hey,
You know,
Kelly.
so don't take it personal, okay?
Hey, there you go.
Set the dead center, you might be all right.
Absolutely. All right, I need a motion to accept road work request as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not roll call?
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up is elected officials. Sheriff Stratton can be here, but we have his twin brother.
Stupid brother.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you apart. Jason, how are you doing, sir?
My hair looks better. Good morning, Court. We do have one personnel action request. It's for Vincent Brown, full-time SRO position. He's at 6 years previous law enforcement experience. He's not retired.
Also, while they're looking over that, Travis with the animal control officer. Glad to have you up here.
I'm good. How are y'all?
Do you want to go ahead and present while he's looking over that?
Since August 8th, when I took the position, we have responded to 104 calls for service. Out of those, we've had 6 neglect cases, 4 no action needed, 1 removal, and 1 we've worked with the owners to correct that issue. 34 animals have been picked up and taken to the Logan County Humane Society.
Dang, that's busy.
It is a lot.
I've doing a great job, Travis. Appreciate you doing that. I've heard very little complaints since you've taken over, so actually no.
That's the way we like it.
Honestly, no complaint, honestly, but I do appreciate you doing that.
Alleviates a lot of calls from us.
Makes it a whole lot
104
easier on you
calls that
guys.
he's done. Helps us out a lot.
Great.
104 off of you.
Correct.
Wow.
And when you get a call, you go to every single call,
Not
even
necessarily. So depending on, we get a lot of calls like cats we've dealt with. Any neglect call, we're going to. Some of them 104, I've reached out on telephone, spoke to them, but every single call has had some type of action from the county.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
We good,
Like
Tyler?
Lance said,
Tyler? Good?
Jason, you good?
Go ahead.
All right, I make a motion to approve the personnel action request for Vincent Brown, hire date on 9/11/2023, base salary schedule of LC-SO-1, and he's credited with 6 years previous experience.
Stipend schedule 1 is 2.
Oh, and stipend schedule LC-SO-1S2.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Next up, Stacy's not here for our clerk, but we have a representative from the clerk's office. Please come up and give us some good news.
I'm Jennifer. I'm the bookkeeper for Stacy. Fee report, that's all we have. Any questions?
I make a motion that we acknowledge the clerk's fee report.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. No other discussion? Roll call, please.
Thank you.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up, jailer Josh Toomey. You have nothing? All right, good. Ben, our coroner, is at a conference, so he's not present either. So let's move on to department heads. Ginger, you didn't have anything? Archives?
Nothing today.
Nothing today. Nathan, I know you've got plenty, so come on up. And just because they didn't go doesn't mean you get their time.
That's right.
Third preacher we've had.
That's right. That's too bad for y'all.
We're in revival.
Yeah.
Have a revival today.
That's right. Well, I had in y'all's tablets there the Ritter pickup report. We did get about 46 miles of trash pickup, 216 bags and 14 tires. Appreciate the jail crew and the community service that we've had out there picking up litter. I was talking with Jailer Toomey, and they're working on getting us a couple different ways, some more help out there. We always appreciate that. So, recycling, there have been some equipment issues and just working with the guys, getting them trained, but we have had 24 bales, a pretty decent amount of cardboard out there, and they're working, getting several stops and an increasing number of stops. And the other thing I just wanted to share, just to kind of nail down, we talked last court meeting about a tire recycling event at the road department, and just the specifics for that. October 6th, it's a Friday, is the date we'd like to do, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And a 15 tire limit, and those are passenger tires, except 2 of those can be semi-tires. Similar to what we've had in the past, a little bit more because I got a little more money, but next spring is scheduled to be our big tire event, so we'll take a lot more tires at that time.
No tractor tire.
No, sorry. In the spring, you can bring as much as you want on tractor tires or about anything else.
No tractor.
No. Anything else for me?
I appreciate you.
Appreciate
getting them,
Thank you, Nathan.
Mow over there by the dollar store. I appreciate that.
Sure.
It's much better, and
Sure.
appreciate you working with the.
I got one in your district, and I'm really working on. It's been a problem case, and they're going to go to court. But
Yeah, I know you're doing what you can.
I do have a question when Tyler's done.
Appreciate you working with I think you're working with somebody from the state with about DARPRO. Appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, he's at the Division of Air. He's really good to help, so he gave some information.
Division of Air.
Yeah, there's a gentleman up there that he works really well with me, and he gave me a pretty good report on DARPRO, what was going on there. So, and I don't want to sit and quote it here, but if you want, I can forward it to you what they said.
No, that's okay. Actually, the fact that Tyler's on top of it and you're on top of it really is good representation. So thank you for that.
Sure.
Have you heard anything back about the school recycling plans we had in the works from Logan Aluminum?
Yes. So on that, we have Adairsville to be the pilot school because they showed a lot of interest in recycling.
Amen.
And so we are, the assistant principal has worked with the liaison from Logan Aluminum, and we're getting a plan together where Tim can pick it up easily and getting some various shaped trash can. It's going to be a giant trash can, or recycling can rather, shaped like a can, like an aluminum can. It's going to be up in the school, different places at Adairsville, and then they're going to put it in a central location for Tim to pick up. So we're happy about that. I appreciate Logan Aluminum's willingness to fund this to get us started, and the hope is to use some of the funds that are received from the aluminum to go back into the school as well there at Adairsville, and then pick this up for the other county schools later, and hopefully try to get some motivation incentives for the kids to pick up aluminum as well.
Well, I'm hoping Denise is listening intently to this, because the more Adairsville gets positive feedback for this, the other county schools are going to go, what's this? Okay, the bottom line is they were going to make real decorative things.
They
That
are.
represent each school. And
Yes.
That's still in the plan.
That is correct. Those cans that are going to be at the front of the school and in the school are going to be decorated with the school logo, and also a little bit about Logan aluminum too, but they should look really nice.
Well, that's what we had talked to out there with
Right.
the people out in Logan.
That's
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll keep you updated.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Nathan.
Next up is a new addition, Jennifer Mosier, from our Animal Shelter Director. She's going to come up and give us a quick report. I think there's some pictures in your on your iPads.
Good morning.
Go easy on me. It's my first time.
Go easy on us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's a mutual thing. I'd like to take an opportunity to thank Jailer Toomey for allowing the guys to come from the detention center. They have been amazing. I just thought I'd run through some of the things that we've kind of been able to accomplish in the last month. As you can see, there's some before and after pictures just of just the lighting. I could present you a lot of pictures, and I didn't want to overwhelm the court and take a lot of time. We've been able to replace some exhaust fans that were needed. There was a light switch placed. Some outlets were replaced. There was an additional window unit that Judge Baker was able to provide for us for the back room. Those back kennels were not being used because there's no HVAC in the area. That back room has an additional 19 kennels, which is why a lot of the dogs have been outside in the outside kennels. Now that the county's taken over, and I apologize I didn't bring it with me, the dogs do have to be inside for the winter. They cannot be outside, so it's crucial in the coming months that we eventually talk about HVAC in the back room, but we'll get to that later. We don't have to do that today.
So the window makes that
So the
possible.
window for right now has the air conditioner in there to be able to keep the animals cool. We have big fans, and the exhaust fan in that room was not working at all. So that exhaust fan has been fixed, so now that the air unit can go through, the exhaust kind of pulls it through. So that's been really beneficial to kind of give them air conditioning and keep them cooler inside the building instead of outside. That week that it was so hot outside, I took my temperature gun. I didn't even bring those pictures, but it was about 74 inside where the dogs were, and even in the outside kennels under the carport in the shade was 101. So they were able to go inside and not have to be outside. I know outside you can get a breeze and kind of keep a little cooler, but like I said, it was about 74 and there was still a little muggy, but better than 101 outside. That week was really rough on all of us. So the guys...
How many total kennels do you have?
31 inside.
31 inside?
Yes, and they're not technically being used the way they should. In the middle section, which is if you see these pictures here with a before and after, so in the middle section, they're actually inside-outside runs, and they should be used as inside-outside runs, but because we have so many dogs right now, we're using the doors are shut, and we're using the back sides of the runs for additional kennels. So, but we're making it work. So it does make it a little difficult to clean. What we end up having to do is take all of the dogs from one section, take them out to the courtyard. We put them in black wire crates. We go back, we clean the section of the empty kennels. Then we bring the dogs back to their clean kennels because you cannot clean with dogs inside the kennels. So it does make it double duty. So then you have to go back to the courtyard, clean out all those kennels, and then get ready for your next batch. And with the two guys, they've been amazing. They're really working super hard to get that done. So it's just a lot of double duty cleaning, but we're making it work. Today with the rain, we're actually having to line them inside on the hallway. So we're not able to probably pull out as many as we want at the same time. So it might take a little longer, but like I said, we're getting through. Volunteers are welcome for anybody that might be watching this morning. The guys came, they took all the broken wood boxes that were in the dog runs. Those have been removed. There was a big tree limb that had fallen in, that's been removed. There was pallets in the courtyard, those have been moved to actual storage. All the yard work's been done. It probably could start to be done, but I've had them stay off of the grass area due to the Giardia outbreak that was last month. So we're just trying to hold off until October 1st, and then hopefully with the cooler weather coming in, we won't have to do as much yard work anyway. And the last thing I think big was the stairs. They're almost done. They started yesterday. The stairs are in really bad shape, so we were able to get that taken care of. I'm so excited. The stairs have also been moved to the front of the building, which will make it easier for people that do come in. I've had people show up and they're like, I don't even know where to go. With the stairs being on the side, they're very hidden. People don't always know where to go. So now when you walk in the gate, the stairs are going to be in the front of the building, and there'll be a sign up on the railing that says office, so they'll know that's where they can go. It's just a little more clear for people that have never been to the facility. So,
Did you say how many animals you have?
I would say we have 31 runs, so, and I don't think any of the dogs are doubled up. And then we have 6 puppies and 1 dog in quarantine. So 37? I don't math very well.
It doesn't have to be exact.
Yeah, so it's just under 40, and then we do have cats that the Humane Society is caring for. So what I did was we started a new software system, and I know that Travis said he brought in more. I've only been able to track 7 for the month of August, and that's just because we didn't have our software for the county. But I do have 7 that were tracked in from the 28th through the 31st. In 3 days, basically, he brought in 7 dogs. So they have come off their stray hold. Yes. So they've come off their stray hold and they've gone up for adoption, and they've over to the Humane Society. So those have been taken care of. Which leads me to my next section. Bear with me. I'm still, like I said, trying to get my bearings with having to present everything to everybody. With the outbreak of Giardia last month, I did talk with Romaine Companies. It's the only company that I've been able to find. If anybody has any other recommendations, I would love to talk to other companies. But they did come out and they were just talking about infectious diseases that can affect our shelter. One of them being Giardia, Parvo, and then Coccidia. And then it also would cover the calcivirus, which can be held in cats, and that's very, very dangerous because it spreads like wildfire. So I asked him to get a quote. Initially, he said between $3,000 and $6,000, and my heart kind of was like, oh, okay. So when I finally got the quote, it actually ended up being $1,975, which, if I math correctly, again, please bear with me, comes out to $1.95 a gallon. It comes with several products. And you'll see the dispensers are on the wall. The dispensers are actually free, so they come in and we get those. No matter how many we get, the dispensers are free. It's only the product that we pay for. So there are several things that you'll see in there. There's the Tektrol that actually is a disinfectant, and then there's a deodorizer that will help. It's a citrus smell. Unfortunately, you go into any animal shelter, there's going to be an odor, obviously. You can scoop all you want, but there's still some kind of odor. So they have a product called Tektrol, and then the deodorizer has more of that orange scent to kind of help mask some of the smells. And then there is the bowl cleaner. This is for the bowl cleaner here. These help disinfect all your dishes, and that would go in the sink room, which is great. We already have the 3-bin sink, so that works out perfect. He already took a look at that. They would install a system there, and then there's little knobs you turn, and it's already pre-measured, so we don't have to worry about measuring incorrectly. And that's one of the good things. The system here, this is for the outside kennels. It's a little different for the inside where you would do your sink room. And then you could measure the same for your bottles to spray your cat cages.
So these are sprays for the cages and for the eating?
Yes, so one of the problems is that you have concrete kennels that are out there, and that can be very, very difficult to clean. They're using Kennel Sol, and actually when we initially sat down and talked, I was incorrect with how I thought it was supposed to be measured. I had the previous director there, and she had said 2 ounces. I thought it was 2 ounces. That's actually 8 ounces for Kennel Sol per gallon that you're actually supposed to mix. So I'm not sure if I just misunderstood and said 2. It wasn't corrected in the meeting, but it is 8 ounces for the Kennel Sol. So it's actually more per ounce to use the Kennel Sol than it would be to use any of the products from Romaine. Also, there is another product I wanted to just talk about. This is probably one of the most important things, is your hair buster, or I think it's what it's called. liquid alive. So this is what goes down your drains. So obviously, when you go into your kennels, your first priority is to scoop everything that you can. Anything else that gets rinsed down, their hair, anything like that, it's basically a commercialized Drano. It's really important to keep those drains because we've already had to have them snaked once. There was some stuff that got down there that didn't get scooped out, or dog hair you can't. It's just kind of there. It's just kind of part of it, so it clogs up your drains, and I think that might be part of where our smell is coming from, because it's in the drains and it's not, we're trying to flush them every day like we're supposed to, but when stuff builds up, it still needs to be, kind of broken through and cleaned out. So, that was one of the reasons I spoke with Romaine. They're the only company, like I said, that I know of, just because Christian County does use them, and I know that I think the jail uses some of their services as well. So I don't know what comes next.
So on that cleaning system, I think maybe the magistrates need to be a little more clear, or need to understand a little more about it. So you purchase a package through this company
Correct.
of cleaning chemicals needed,
Yes.
and in return they come and they set up the indoor and the outdoor stations.
Yes.
And that allows the employees, the whoever's helping the volunteers, to accurately measure
Correct.
each item they're using, so there's no waste.
Because
to
the
do-
machine is doing it.
the
Right
machine's
now,
doing
with the
it.
kennels, we have to measure
Yeah,
that.
So like on
Yes.
weekends, if we have volunteers that are cleaning.
Correct. And if they're not measuring it correctly, if they're not like specifically 1 gallon to 8 ounces, then, it's more important for your parvovirus. But there are other things, there's a whole sheet in there that show what they'll take care of. So that's my biggest concern, is just making sure that whatever is used is properly measured. And with the actual dispenser, you don't have to worry about that. There's no making it wrong, because they come and they set it up. If there's any issues, they come back, they check it. Like I said, I've worked through Christian County. Anytime we had an issue when we first set up there, they were there all the time if they needed to be, to make sure that it was working correctly and dispensing the correct amount.
So what chemicals are you using now? Just what's there?
Kennesaul,
What's
that's it.
available? I mean, who's buying it? Is it just stuff that's been there from the past?
So we had the last little bit from what the Humane Society had purchased, and when we ran out, the county purchased the next 5-gallon bucket of Kennesaul, and that's the only product that we currently have. And like I said, we're just trying to be very cautious and make sure that we mix it correctly, because it's really important to not have any more viruses. And that's not to say it's going to prevent an outbreak. Things still happen, but I think one of the problems is with the concrete, you have to have a degreaser to get everything off. Concrete's very porous, and can be very difficult to clean. So with the degreaser, it really helps get everything off the brick so that you can actually sanitize it the way it should be.
Do you have that in the form of a quote so we can look at it and see what we're getting?
I do. I have my Post-its on there, but I don't know if I was supposed to.
Yeah, we would need that.
Okay.
We would just need, if you could bring us just a real quote from the company.
Yeah, this is what he had emailed me. Do I need to get it like on letterhead?
$1,900?
$1,975. And all the products are listed there.
How long does it last for that?
That's a really good question. I
Depends on
don't
how
have
many
the
animals
answer.
you got.
Right, it depends, right. It's a very difficult answer for me to give to you.
I'll
because
get with
I'm not-
Jennifer this week, and we'll get it all situated and be ready to present next court.
The dispensers and all that stuff, is something that could be removed easily and put into a different building.
That's my understanding. Free, so even if we move, I would imagine that they would come out and move those dispensers for us.
Yeah, they bolt to the wall.
Yeah, they're bolted to the wall. And like I said, they've been great.
When we tear it down, we don't
Yes.
have to.
Yes. And if we can't take those dispensers, Romaine would bring us, because the dispensers are free. We're just paying for the
We're buying
actual
chemical.
product.
I mean, I doubt we would, I don't know if we actually would own the dispensers. That's why we need to get it set up in a
Yes.
and receive. Right.
Yes, I can see, because he just sent it to me in an email, just broke it down per price, per gallon.
Wall, they just put a piece of plywood up, put it on top of that.
If I mathed it correctly, to buy those products that's listed here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 products, it averages $1.95 a gallon, and if I measured the Kennesaul correctly, it's $2.43 a gallon.
So it's cheap.
So,
Yeah, just get with the judge and get us.
Yeah, we'll get together and work on that.
okay,
and we'll
I
work
will
on the
email
other
him back
also.
and ask if it could be like on official letterhead. Again, like I said, he just put it in an email typed out that way, but I can.
We'll work on that, we'll work on the other also. Jennifer, I appreciate everything you've done out there. Jennifer talks to me about every day. There's a lot of attention that needs to be done out there. Unfortunately, a lot of attention. And I'm going to make a plea, since we're online, if there's anybody that wants to volunteer, that could volunteer, that would please just 30 minutes
Absolutely.
a week, an hour, 2 hours, 8 hour day, whatever. We need the attention. If you love animals, then it's a great place to be, because there's some great dogs out there.
Yes, some things that the shelter could always use. I hate to interrupt you. Puppy chow, I think we're good on. I know that they just got that pallet of kitty litter from Tractor Supply. Kitten chow is something I do believe we are low on. We don't need terribly much, but I mean, they always just keep it in stock. Towels, hand washcloths, those would be great. Blankets, because my next project is making sure that all the dogs have veranda beds, since they will be inside.
We do have a Facebook, they do have a Facebook page, and I think we could probably put a list out there of items needed.
That'd be great.
And that would be great, but probably as much as anything, volunteer time would be very appreciative. It's just...
There's only 4 of us right now.
Yeah, there's four people out there.
There's 4 of us, 2 gentlemen from the detention center.
Right.
And then their Humane Society employee and myself.
It would help too, maybe,
So.
I know you need a lot of volunteers, but like the inmates that are there from the jail, it's low crime, convicted people, and didn't pay child support or something like that. It's not anything, they shouldn't be afraid.
Correct.
And Jailer Toomey's trying to send as much people out there as he can, as many people as he can, but right now, they're hitting spots where they're not getting them. We've been talking about maybe getting a hold of the 2 real judges over there at the other building, and talking about maybe using this as community service for offenders.
And community service is actually welcome there. We do have a book for community service, so anybody else. I've had 2 people call. Unfortunately, just neither one has come yet, so I don't know if that's still their plan, but community service can be done at the animal shelter.
Well, a lot of people ask, what we're doing, and I keep saying we've got...
Come out and take a look. I can walk you through everything.
And that, I know there's a lot of turnover right now.
Yes.
But the big thing I'm hearing is we need volunteers. So if you're asking, and I'm going to say this publicly, people that call me or ask, what are you doing about the animal shelter? I think maybe my first response is, did you volunteer? Because honestly, I think that's what we're looking at, is you need a little more of that.
Correct.
And then they can see firsthand, what's
And we're
going
doing
on, what
everything we can as quickly, but as cleaning as we're supposed to fast. It can be a little difficult. I think we probably get done cleaning around 11:30, and our gates technically open at 10. And then we eat lunch, and then we go back and we sweep, mop, do dishes, any laundry. It's just, we're making it work. Like I said, I take care of the puppies that we currently have, trying to get the laundry folded, things like that, and answer the phones at the same time. Their Humane Society person's helping with the cats, and then their administrative responsibilities, the inmates are coming in, taking care of the dogs back and forth, sweeping, mopping the hallways, getting up any extra water. We're getting it done. It's just,
Well, thank you.
I do have one last thing if I could bring up. The puppies that we do currently have are in very old cat cages. They're made out of wood and covered with contact paper. So they're not things that I can have taken outside to pressure wash.
Right, that's the other thing I was talking about. You and I will get together on that. We'll talk about that later. And then we'll bring it to court. We don't need to waste court time.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I didn't know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Kelly, I forgot about you. No, usually that's hard for me to say because you're a hard, unforgettable person, but I forgot to bring you up. So if you'll come up, because I know you have one thing to mention. I'd like to say, as Kelly's on his way up here, the road department has been doing a great job taking care of our roads and lots of trees. For some reason, we've had an excessive amount of trees.
Still falling.
Still fighting them.
I'd like to ask court permission to set bids on a new mowing tractor. That's the specs. I was gonna try to hold off till next spring, but
it's just,
we might as well get it. We got the money.
What's the spec on the tractor gonna be?
It's right there. Same as the last.
What horsepower tractor are we looking at?
85 to 100.
85 to 100,
horse.
somewhere around there. Okay. Yeah, we've had how many tractors have we had down?
We've had 3 down.
3
We've been
down for
mowing
multiple
1100
times.
some
and
miles with 2 tractors.
We've got
for
one tractor out there that's
2 months.
needs some major attention, and
We may have got one back though today, hopefully.
hopefully, and then now, this is the reason some of the mowing hadn't been got done, is the
Mowing and
tractors have been
motrin,
down.
pretty critical.
Be patient with us, we've got
Right now, you
2.
at 3?
Right now, we've actually got 5, but we got 2 that's running.
Okay, that was my question, how many are out there?
Well, we've got two
Well,
out mowing, and that's
the
it.
airport's got one.
You had issue getting some parts too, right?
Yes, some major issues getting parts has been one of our biggest.
Parts is killing us.
Yeah.
Jason and McDonald. So we have 5, but 2 are running right now.
Yeah, we've had 2 for 2 months. But we may have 3
When you
today.
go back, it may be a blessing.
Yeah, may have 3, may not have any.
Is the parts problem specific make issue?
Well,
I don't want to incriminate myself by
No,
saying
we
that, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're having trouble getting parts,
Specific models.
and apparently we're not the only one needing those
of course,
parts.
the new one we got last year, it's fine, it's still. And the other one is running good, but, we got, the other 2 are old.
We've got the money,
That's
we
pretty
budgeted the
critical.
money for this, and he's just asking permission to go ahead and put out for bid with those specs.
I make a motion to, do I need to follow a protocol here? I make a motion for Kelly to put that bid out and present it to us next fiscal court meeting. Second.
Be October, Well,
Hopefully we can get this resolved and we can get another machine going.
Fix.
I have a motion, a second. No further discussion, roll call, please.
Allen.
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
Wilkite.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes?
Holden.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Kelly, are you gonna trade the tractor in?
We've got two that can go in the
Two
surplus.
we were talking about
and auction.
surplus, and if anybody's willing to take trade-in on them.
Is any of them worth trading in? I mean, we usually do a little bit on the trade-in.
We got the Zetter and
Surplus.
and the
sale. We're
old
not
John
trading in
Deere.
Surplus sale.
I mean, we
need to
could.
determine, you don't have to do it now, but between now and accepting a bid, we need to find one to trade in. We don't need
We
seven.
won't trade
We
one
could,
in.
we could add that as a potential.
That's a trade-in credit and see
Yeah,
what it is.
yes.
Yeah, we could have it run it both ways, a price and then a trade-in added on there.
Okay.
We can figure out which tractor you
Yeah,
want to
because
do.
we're gonna end, we got 4 now, not counting the mow trim tractor. But yeah, I'll do
Let's get rid
that.
of one of them.
I agree.
Alright.
I agree 100%. Thank you, Kelly. All right, next up is judges' announcements. Oh, did we get? I can't remember. It's the way this day's going, I don't know. Judges' announcements, September 15th and 16th, the Logan County Bluegrass Festival will be held at McCutcheon Coke Park in Auburn. Free admission, event is rain or shine. September 16th, there will be a benefit for Troy Ogg at the Adairville Elementary School beginning at 4:30 with a live auction beginning at 6:30. September 21st, a substance abuse awareness program for the Center for Teens at 343 West 3rd Street, Russellville. Dr. Dye will lead the conversation with teen substance abuse and education on the disease of addiction. September the 30th, Logan County Clerk's Office will be open for their Saturday hours, 9:30 to noon for vehicle business only. Mr. Nee Shoulders, thank you for that list. Moving on, we have no reports. Now is our time for citizen participation. If there's any citizen that would like to speak, now is the floor is open. If there's none that I see, no one's raising
We
their
get
hand.
somebody coming.
No, if you're about the road, we'll do the road here later. All right,
Oh, also, September 30th, the Fish and Game Club.
that's right. September the 30th is Fish and Game, the Dareville, is it Red River? Is it
Red River Fish and Game
Red River
Club.
Fish and Game? Yeah, a gentleman came and seen me about that yesterday, and I did not add that on.
They're having
Thank you.
fish fry.
It's a big old fish fry. All right, next up is old business. This was something we tabled from last meeting. It was hold a second reading for ordinance number 23-1040-01, an ordinance relating to the posting of bonds for obtaining a permit prior to construction projects involving the crossing of county road or tunneling underneath the county road. Chris, we got that situated. It should be your newest, latest is up there. I'm just asking for a motion to accept that.
I make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 23-1040-01 as amended from the first reading.
Thank you.
Related to construction projects in county right of way.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do you have any further discussion?
Yeah, what was the change, Chris, in the amendment? The first one and the second one, I apologize. I forgot.
It's been a while, but
yeah, it has.
we clarified, we made some distinction between water, sewer, and communication lines versus gas and electric as far as buried depths. And also given an exception, allowing shallower and rock conditions.
Right.
But making distinctions for those utilities in particular, but keeping the gas and electric 42 inches, which is consistent with what the state would require for all utilities, actually. But
correct.
42 burial depth.
It's 42 regardless for all perpendicular crossings, but we make some distinction for parallel.
And then when they hit rock, we made an allowance for a little shallower if you hit solid rock.
Who makes that determination?
Myself and the road supervisor at this point will make that determination.
So if they don't come and ask for a variance, it's got to be 42 inches.
If it's a gas
Well,
or
it's not 42 for water, sewer.
It's 36.
36 or 24 in rock, 36 in other. And it's all spelled out there on the third or fourth page, the difference.
I've shared
But if
this.
they don't get a variance, then it is as posted in this agreement.
Yes.
Correct.
They can't make that determination on their own. They just can't come back and say, I hit rock, so I did it at 8 inches.
That's where they'll have to
Well,
contact
that's what
us.
I want to know. Who has the right
Myself,
to make that determination?
myself or the
Because if
road
you-
supervisor.
You're just saying, if it's not cleared here, then they can claim they hit a rock.
Yeah, it gives provisions that basically the judge and Kelly have oversight.
Okay.
Correct.
And this sort of stems from an issue that happened early in the year. I know y'all dealt with this many times, but this, for me and the judge started talking about it because it originated on the Daysville-Gordonsville Road, where they trenched it about 12 inches off the edge of pavement, and it's about 12 inches deep, and it's in rock.
Yeah.
And it's right in the ditch line. And they tore the edge of the road all to pieces. And thankfully,
Where was this?
the Daysville-Gordonsville Road.
Daysville.
Thankfully, AT&T, it was a subcontractor of AT&T's, but they stood behind the damage and actually came back and repaved multiple areas of the road, the whole width of the road.
The whole width of the road.
That case worked out. It worked out as far as the road, but the cable's still there.
12 inches deep.
And just
In
12
the ditch.
And just 12 inches off the edge, too.
Yes, when I went out there and saw it, I was not happy with what they had done, and I made sure that they knew that we were not happy about it, and they did correct the problem. Well, they corrected the road, but we really didn't have an ordinance really protecting us on that at that point, or not one.
If you grab that, cleaning the ditch out 20 years from now, 10 years from now, who's liable for that? Is the county liable?
They will be. There is at the very last line, I believe it's the very last of it, basically says.
This wouldn't this wouldn't apply to the
No, it's,
cable that's already there. So if Kelly goes out 10 years from now, one of the guys go,
10, 20
clean,
years.
they clean that road up, and they hook a backhoe to it and jerk it out.
well, I don't know what the original ordinance
I don't-
stated
I'm
either,
not-
you know, so.
I'm not positive about what it says. The very last paragraph basically says,
They should not put those things in our ditches.
no, definitely not in our
It's
ditches.
just like the farmer planting corn.
And that
Love the
states that
farmer.
this
Quit
should not-
planting corn in ditches, man.
This states that everything should be behind the ditches.
Right, yeah.
Basically, the very last paragraph says, any utility line or equipment of the county, on the county right of way, that is required to be relocated shall be done at the utility provider's expense. So we made sure we added that. You know, so I don't think we should pay for any utility that needs to be moved that's on the county right of way. If they're on the county right of way, then that's going to be part of their, for using that right.
Okay, thank you. I was going to get, I forgot in between.
With that being
First reading
said,
and this reading, so.
right.
so-
With that being said, I've sent
I'm a slow
it,
reader too, so it won't do me no good to read it.
I've sent that to a couple of utilities. Jamie, have you looked at it also? So basically, 3 different utilities have looked at it, and
Jamie's got that problem.
so I had a motion. Did I get a second?
Yes.
I got a second. If there's no further discussion, I need a roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right, moving on to new business. Number 1, approve the correction of order number 30 from the July 25th, 2023 fiscal court minutes. On the motion, Ms. Ann Crawford, duly seconded by Tyler Davenport, to request a public road hearing on the purpose of removing 1,185 feet of Corey Road from the Logan County road system. The motion originally said we were adding instead of removing.
Well, the homeowner called me and I said, you know, that this would be voted on and
Right.
she wants to put a gate.
Right, and I spoke with her also.
Okay, so yeah, we've talked. So
Right,
we're
so
good.
yeah, you and I spoke. So basically, we just need to make that correction.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve that correction.
I have a second, motion and second. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 2, approve the 2023 tax rate for Big Muddy Creek watershed.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes, sorry. Item number 3, approve the 2023 tax rate for Logan County Extension.
So moved.
I have a motion. Got a second from Chris. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Hey, Judge, I do ask, I guess, when we do this next year, it sure would be helpful to see what prior rates are when we're doing, I guess.
That's no problem.
I have no idea what the current rate
And
is.
that's what I was struggling with a little bit too, Chris, but I think, please don't quote me on this, but I think when they came and presented their tax rate, they explained it then, and am I correct about that? And then this is the actual document that they have to turn in, so.
They come.
Yeah, they came.
what's your-
Well, who didn't come is one I don't never know unless I see the prior year is the watersheds.
Watershed
the water
never
districts.
comes.
But
You know what? I'll make sure that that's on
I'm
there.
pretty sure that they took the compensating rate.
Yes,
The extension office did.
they did.
But
both
I
them and the
was
Big
thumbing
Muddy
through
did.
there, and I don't see prior
When would that
years.
have been?
They came like 2 meetings ago, is that
Yeah.
right?
I just have forgotten.
Leanne, remember Leanne came and King came? It seemed like there was one more. Denise is shaking her head, so there was a couple of them here that were presenting their proposed rates to us so we have to approve that now, you know, and then you'll see a couple of court meetings later, this
And
document.
you explained that compensating rate after the meeting.
Right,
Because
yeah,
I
so
have-
whatever date that was.
Yes, I was gonna say, I
that's
know
when that
exactly
was.
when that
Just-
was, because you
Just
stated.
to
explained.
clarify a statement that said the last time, there is a difference between us approving and acknowledging.
Yeah.
We only have to approve it when,
If it's going up the 4%, or if it's going above compensating rate is when we have to approve.
Right.
What is the rule?
Anything above compensating rate.
Anything above compensating.
Anything
So,
above compensating rate.
in these
And right now,
motions
they're just
that we've
asking
had, are we-
compensating. Would you explain?
Just acknowledging.
okay.
Yep, I believe Muddy Shed and the extension are both just compensating.
All of these have been presented to us prior to this, and I don't remember, nobody took.
And I'm not
4%.
disputing it, I guess I just
Yeah.
visually just.
Well, you think you're doing it another rate, and it's not, it's a rate that they've already presented to us.
We'll try, next year, we'll try to make sure I'll try my best to make sure we have.
Makes better.
I understand, yeah. I guess we've dealt with
One of them
it.
Google spreadsheets would be nice, you know.
We'll work on doing that, and I do understand, but we look at them, I've been looking at them all week, or been looking at them for the past month, so I knew what it was.
Time every day now.
Yeah.
All right, if no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes,
Baker.
Yes. Item number 4, approve the 2023 tax rate for all countywide tax districts excluding school districts.
so moved.
Second.
There we go. I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes,
Baker.
Yes. Item number 5, approve to transfer a Dell Optiplex computer inventory number 03183 from the County Judge Executive Office inventory to the Logan County Animal Control Animal Shelter inventory.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second, no further discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
yes.
Baker.
Yes. Before we move on, can we take a quick little short break?
That's what the judge wants.
Let's move on with new business. Number 6, hold a public road hearing on the purpose of removing 1,185 foot from Quarry Road in the Logan County Road System. Is anybody here to object to that?
Is that not what we did just above?
Well, we had to change the wording.
We
What
had
happened
to change the
above
wording,
was
so
for
now we
some
have to have
reason
another
It was
hearing.
worded added instead of removed. So now we took one off, we're adding this one, isn't that it?
Yeah, just a formality
Yep.
on this one.
Only question I have is, when we remove this from the county system and this road ends at a new spot now, are we making sure that we have proper turnarounds for our county equipment, school bus, snowplow, bush hog, mower mats?
Not on this road.
Okay.
There's not on this road, no. We can start looking into that, but not at this point, no. Not on this particular road.
Because I don't know if that, Thomas, is that a criteria? Is that something we have to provide?
As far as Scott Waste goes, if they're not on a public road, they have to have permission from the owners to drive that. They won't do it. They won't go down that road unless they have permissions from the homeowners.
And it has to be proper turnaround.
Correct.
So, I mean,
They're not required to service.
I'm just using her road as an example, but where are we turning around now?
I'm not familiar with Quarry Road.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up.
At this
It
point,
ends at her farm.
It's across from Clark.
yeah, at this point, it ends in her yard, basically. So, they're having to turn around in her spot. She's just getting a lot of construction and preview to her house, and she's not.
Oh, I get that part. I just want to make sure if we've got a road that we take off the county and it ends in the middle of woods and it go, you're driving 1,000 feet and the road ends, I mean, do we back out?
That's a good point, and no,
'Cause she's gonna
that has not been
this,
addressed.
in
on
this particular instance, she's going to put a gate up.
Correct.
So am I going to drive 2,000 feet back a road and have to back out?
Where's it gonna stop now? So right there's the bypass, not the bypass, the 4-lane. You go back and.
Right there. She wants them to stop using her farm as their turnaround. Because what's happening, you've got a lot of building going here, and they're going up here and doing this and her. Oh, wait. I apologize. I'm sorry, this is not where it is. It's back here.
I was gonna say, what happens to all these lands?
Oh, no, it's right here. It's right here. It's where her road starts. She wants it to stop there because they're coming down here and then going like this at her. I'm sorry.
And Jason, you bring up a good point. Jason, you bring up a good point on that. Honestly.
It's just food for thought for the future.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree.
AP Miller Road, TG Book Road, all those, some of those. Cul-de-sac or.
It just needs to be like that. I mean, even if it's a farm entrance or something, just something.
So there's a house and then a building and then a house at the end.
Yeah, there's 2 houses at the end now.
So where we cutting it, where we stopping it?
And
Well, it is where she wants to take it off.
Because I took 200, the only time I've ever done it, I took like 192 foot off the road, but I took it off to the next driveway, and the permission for that to be our turnaround. Because they use the thing, they
They
gave
came here and we're doing a big one and stuff like that. And she said, I want to stop.
people so thought our office can road. And I get that people,
This is where they got all the.
So I was just saying, I know I've got those 2 dead ends, and just in. They just they've got a field and a straight driveway.
well, if it ends in the field, we're straight around.
And all the construction traffic's coming all the way back and turning around.
So there's actually 2 different residences that'll be past the gate, right?
Correct.
But she owns both of them now.
Yes.
But at some point in time when she has to sell, there's 2 different homeowners. That's the only thing that.
That's just another roadblock in the future that we'd have to.
Because I've dealt with some stuff like that before in my district. You know, people live back here, people want it on the county, and some don't. You know, it's just constant battle. But either way, she currently owns both properties, so I mean that's what the information we have given today.
Since there's no one here for the public hearing, I entertain a
Okay.
motion.
Yes, I will make the motion then to remove 1,185 feet of Quarry Road that is currently on the county road system to come off of the county road system at the property owner at that point.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. Any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Logan,
No.
Baker,
Yes.
Sorry.
That's some stuff we gotta figure out. moving
You're absolutely
forward.
right, moving forward. And I, that never
There's no
occurred to me
turnaround,
until
and I
now.
don't know where the actual end that we just took off, I don't know how it affects these other homeowners here, And the other problem I have is once we make something county road and we spend taxpayer money on it for years and years and years and years and years and years, and then we take it off, I'm not ever, almost never in favor of that. So it's nothing against this homeowner. I understand her plight, and I think there was other means to stop what was happening. But people wanted a county road, and they want you to pay to take care of it. And then when they start having aggravating traffic, they want to complain and take it off the system, and that's not fair to the taxpayer. You ask for it to be a county road, you ask the taxpayer to pay to maintain it, to keep it up, and then all of a sudden the public starts using it, and then you want to complain. That's not fair to the taxpayer.
But I do have a rebuttal to that. Because where is the turnaround now? It should not be her private property, which is what is happening.
It's her private property. She put a gate up wherever she wants to. It's her private property. She should not allow, and nor should anybody be coming onto her private property to turn around. Call to the sheriff to take care of that,
Well, that's where she is. And the problem is, okay, the county took on the road is there, but there is no turnaround. To your thing, where's the turnaround? Okay, I get it, but the turnaround right now is her private property.
We have no, it's not. People may be doing that, but if they are, when they go onto private property, they are breaking the law. That is trespassing.
Okay, but Jason's question was, what's going to happen for turnaround?
Yeah, I don't know how long this has been a county road. It's prior to me being a magistrate, so it's older than 17 years. So, but we address those things as they come up. If we take on a new road, we make sure they're wide enough, they're ditched, they're tiled, and they have turnaround. Because we have trash trucks, and there may not be a school child on there today, but it may be in the future. And when they do, we need a cul-de-sac at the end of the road, so a bus can have, is it 40 feet, 45 feet that they need to, I've had to do one that was Wildcat Lane, and it was already a county road. I didn't make it a county road, but I had to get the Beachy, Linwood Beachy deeded us some land so we could have a school bus, because there's school children on that road, and the trash truck quit going down there.
So
everybody had to bring their trash all the way out to Highway 100, because the trash truck didn't have any way of turning around. So we were able to correct that. We might have been able to correct this if we found out where the end of the road was, and hey, would somebody give us 45 feet and deed it, and we seen Kelly up there with a grader and a load of rock, we created a turnaround. We just took 1,200 feet off the county road that the taxpayers been paying for who knows how long, and I'm never in favor of that. Never.
Of taking a county road off.
No. You've asked the taxpayer to take it over.
Were you not here
asked the
when we did it
taxpayer
before?
to pay it. No, I mean, I'm issued the same
This came
concern.
up then.
Yeah, I issued the same.
I think in the
concern.
future,
We should not
we
do
need to
that
have,
lightly. We shouldn't do it lightly.
So I don't think I was doing it lightly.
No, I'm not saying you're doing what your constituents asked you to do. I'm not upset with you. I'm just explaining why I voted no. I'm hardly never going to vote yes to take a county road off the system. It'd have to be a unique situation, and it can't be to the fact that the public is using the road and I don't want them to use the road anymore. I can't do that.
So it passed, so you're good to go?
Yeah.
No, I have another question. Are you being critical? Here's the thing.
Do what?
I take that as a criticism. Here's the problem.
No, we're just.
Every county road now that comes forward
We're
to be
fixing to do another
removed,
one. There's
okay,
one right
to
below.
be removed, must have a turnaround at that point where it's removed.
that would be.
That's what I understood you
So
just
what
said.
I'm saying is in the future, we need to have a better presentation and a better plan, maybe even some pictures just as a visual, get with the road department, because we're gonna, if we keep removing roads or certain footage of roads, we're gonna come into the issue where we're gonna have to back out of a road 1,000 foot. There's gonna come a problem when you drive down a road. I don't even know how this road looks on a map, but if you drive down a road and you come up to a gate and there's nowhere to turn around and you gotta back 1,000 foot back down it, that's an issue. So we need to resolve that issue.
Well, Kelly was there. Kelly, what was decided when we were out there? Is there going to be a place for people to turn around and you all are gonna make that for, that area? What?
It's already a drive right there.
All right.
So when people come to where she wants her gate, they can turn around there without backing?
Where is that? Is that at the Y?
No.
No, it's further up.
It goes around the left-hand curve,
Uh-huh.
through the woods, to a phone fest.
It's
That's the
right.
way I can explain it. It's a big phone fest.
There's no woods after a while on the, there's some woods on the right-hand side.
Right-hand side.
So it's going past all the woods?
Past the woods down there. The field ends and her yard starts. That's where the end of it is.
So they are making a turnaround.
So who's
there.
giving you the easement to put that turnaround? Either Carol Browning's estate or Mary Ruth. One, I have to deed you property because you still do not legally have a turnaround. I'm sure that that road right there is probably on a 20 or 30 foot right of way. You still don't have a turnaround. You just took a road off and you still don't have a turnaround legally. Now somebody may let you just go in there and do it, but you just took 1,185 feet off a road and you still don't have a legal turnaround.
So the owner of the field on the left before you get to where she wants her gate. Did she not, okay, do we have to have that documentation? Is that what Thomas and
Unless
Jason?
that's her field or Carol Brown.
Well, I know the Brownings have deeded that over.
To the left is Mary Ruth, to the right.
I've got some more criticism. So we had a vote, it passed, you removed it, we had a road hearing, we can work on some of this other stuff after the meeting, and then we can bring it back and figure it out. So, it passed, we removed it, right, Judge?
Absolutely.
Anything else we need to talk about?
Not as far as item number 6.
Okay.
Well, I want to explain my no vote.
Okay.
Understand.
We got another one right below. It's going to be
Absolutely.
same.
If it's all right, we'll move on. If it's okay, we'll move on to item number 7. Item number 7, hold a public road hearing for the purpose of adding 1,130 foot of Markham Road to the Logan County road system. If there's anyone from that would like to speak, please come forward. Please state your name and your address, please.
Good morning. I'll try not to take much of y'all's time. Connie Gross. My address is 510 Markham Road. I have some questions. I'm trying to understand the procedures for this utility easement. In the past, I've had utility companies come to me with information on what they were going to do, where they were going to do it. And now, no one has come to me. No one came to my sister who owns the other side of the road. And the Markhams have now put in tiles on and trespassed on my property. And I'm just wanting to know, is this how this works? I'm the homeowner, I'm the landowner, my sister's the other landowner. Why were we not contacted? I heard both of y'all talking about,
Well, the county themselves did not do that work. So let's lay that out immediately. The county did not do that work.
So does the Markhams work for you?
No, ma'am. What it boiled down to is we were asked about putting the road on, and we had our county supervisor go out and look at the property and say, this is what the requirements were. And we were given that to whoever wanted the road put on. Now, as far as them being on your property, that has nothing to do with the county.
Right.
We told them what it would take. Now, if that's something between, that would be between you and them. That has nothing to do with the county.
So
we set the
Chris
specifications.
and Kelly did not tell them to basically come onto my property to do this work?
Well, ma'am, I'm basing my information off this plat. And the plat indicates that there is 50-foot right-of-way, which is 25 feet each way from the center. Now, I've ridden out there and seen the work after it was done, and the work for what I saw, was all confined within this 50 feet. So that 50 foot is a public right-of-way, is that correct, Joe?
Whenever this plat was done, it was dedicated that there was a public right-of-way, so if you got it after that, you were going to be bound by what was in that.
So that tile work is all contained inside that 50 feet. Now, and as you mentioned, there's a utility easement even beyond the 50 for an additional 30, so there is 110 feet of either right-of-way or easements that goes beyond your house, but also beyond where the current county maintenance ends.
Right, but does that give any personal person, just Tom, Dick, or Harry, to go on to that property and dig and move items, move T-posts, move fence?
What I would say is that is a separate civil issue that doesn't involve the county, but my guess is it probably does, because as a landowner on that road, somebody has to maintain the road, and if they need to maintain that road to get to something, but you very well might have civil remedies, but it would not be with the fiscal court.
Now, this note here says 50-foot right-of-way hereby dedicated for future public use per request of Logan County Planning Commission.
Right.
So, in order for us, for the road to be at this point of having a hearing, we are asked to give an evaluation of it. Kelly performs that. He indicated that a couple of tiles had to be put in. Those have been put in. He has gone back out and verified that they did according to what he instructed. I'm using the word instructed, but his guidance, if you will. And I've actually gone back out there myself to see, the completion of that. And it's definitely all contained inside 50 foot because it's very short tiles.
Right.
So I don't feel like any of that tile work trespassed on your neighbors. Now, as far as what's installed, because I know the tiles are not longer than 50 foot and the mounts of them are not beyond that either.
Well, I just don't understand how.
Now, I had inquired to the other neighbor to see, this was back in May, if there would be any objection to it, because I knew that benefit, they are beyond the county road maintenance.
Yes,
and she
that's
did
my
not
sister.
express any, objection.
But didn't my brother-in-law not call you 2 weeks ago?
He did, but he didn't. He did not express an objection to the road. He had, I think, some other more neighbor concerns. Not so much, he didn't express, at least I didn't take that from Sam, that he had an objection to the road. It was more about some right-of-way issues beyond the road, easements to other properties and whatnot.
Okay, so even though there is an easement and a right-of-way, does that just still give anybody the right to go on my property 25 feet, 50 feet?
That's going to be a legal question you'll have to consult a lawyer about. That's not something that this court is willing to answer.
Your property's 25 feet off center of the road. You understand that, right? I mean, your boundary edges are 25 feet from the center of the road.
All right,
So
okay. All right, well, all right.
as far as the tile work goes, I don't think that went beyond that 25 feet, at least from what I witnessed. And I didn't get out
Now,
and
did
measure
you-
it and whatnot, but I mean,
Okay, now, on the opposite side of the first tile, did you see the gully that it's gonna make? Is there gonna be, riprap rock brought in there to keep erosion down? Because it was already a erosion area, and now this tile going through there is just gonna make it worse, and it's gonna cost the county more money.
Who was maintaining the erosion?
My sister. I mean, there's sinkholes all over this property. And just one little misplaced tile like that is gonna make it 10 times worse.
if this passes, that drainage area will become our jurisdiction to maintain.
Okay.
You know, so if you have problems with it or others, you know, then yes, that would be a call I'll put in, just like we did earlier in the meeting about road work requests. That would be something we would share with the county road department, you know, to take a look at and to address.
Okay.
Now, beyond the 50-foot right-of-way, that's on, you know, private.
Okay, right. Okay, so my next question is about the turnaround at the end of the road. From the PVA's office, the end of the road is beyond his gate.
Currently,
Well, we're only when we're just 1,130 feet that we're adding, only goes to the gate. And Kelly measured that. That's the first thing that he did, was to measure how much we're adding. So what goes on beyond the gate, we're not adding.
Well, if you're gonna pick up the whole road, take it the whole road, the whole original road back.
We're only considering today adding 1,130 feet, which is from the end of the asphalt now. And Kelly, is that correct? You stopped measuring at the gate? So that's what's before us today. It's just to the gate.
So, you're gonna stop it right here and not go all the way to the end, what, 15, 20 more feet? And I have an issue with that because now that's putting your turnaround on my property instead of at the end of the actual road.
Kelly, you remember how many feet it takes to make the bus and trash can turn around? It's been a long time. Can you do that in 50 feet? Yeah, the cul-de-sac. What? I couldn't remember. Yeah. So we have 50. If we had to have a turnaround in this road,
So every company has come to me
easement
for being on my property.
The right-of-way is 50-foot total.
then you can get a turnaround. According to Kelly, I don't know what it takes for a bus turnaround. Maybe somebody else knows, but
I'll tell you, on the, whatever my road is, the garbage truck has plenty of room to turn around on that, but I don't think the bus goes back that far, but they actually might now. There's a bus that goes down that road.
I'm just concerned about, like, future roads
Well,
and,
basically what Jason asked earlier.
right, and also for, like,
On the other one.
people coming on and digging on your, whether it's the easement or the right-of-way or not, they still got on my property.
Well, if anybody got beyond the 50, outside the 50-foot area, then yes, you would be right, there'd be a case for trespassing. Now, I'm just saying, the tile work that we did for the hearing, I believe is contained within the 50-foot. The utility easement is only for, like you said, if Lewisburg extends water back there, they wouldn't have to come to you to get an easement for that because an easement already is platted, and they can lay that in that 30-foot or telephone.
They don't have to, but they do. I've had the next pages.
No, I'm just saying that that's what the purpose of that utility easement is.
Right, I know.
It's, just already gives an avenue.
I mean, so far from what I see, it passed the county inspection by the road foreman, and the turnaround would be the only issue in my opinion. We just need to work that turnaround out. I mean, 50 foot, is 50 foot not enough for a turnaround?
Have you ever turned a bus around? I have. So the easement request forms, I feel like needs to be in place for something like this also. Because the Markhams are not utility companies.
No, the Markhams or the large family, either one can use the utility easement for, private use.
Okay, no, I get that.
But a public, Logan Telly or the city of Lewisburg or Penarol, something like that, there is an avenue there for an easement to be extended on further back.
Right.
But the 50-foot is what's public use, and that's outside. Does not include the utility easement.
Well, public use in this term is not really public. A public use is for a government, basically. Instead of it saying public, shouldn't it have said government use? That's the way I understood it and spoke to lawyers about.
I'm not going to play lawyer on that one.
I mean, public use is a public right of access, so, I mean, I'm not exactly sure. I don't fully understand what you're getting at. I can just say, as it applies to this, what was written on the plat, the public, meaning the government, as well as the Markhams as an interested property owner on that line.
But they're not property owners.
They don't live at the back of it?
They live at the back of it, but they do not own that property.
They have to have use of that road in order to
Yes, they do.
access their property, so they have a right to upkeep it, would be what I would arguably think, but I can't give you legal advice because all we're here to do today is talk about the fiscal court. We're not here to, I get it.
No, I get it.
There's stuff that is, with my deed that, happens and gives people right of access. I've got a neighbor that they, unfortunately, the people that built their house, built their water line under their driveway, so when it needs work on it, they have to tear up their driveway and that goes back. But what we're here for today is not with the Markhams.
No, it's not.
You might have civil remedies against them, and I would encourage you to speak to those attorneys if there are damages you can recover.
Right.
But that is not why we're here today.
Right. You're here today to let you know that I am a landowner back there and I do not want it back on the road department.
Is the road in front of your house a county road?
Yes, it stopped at my barn because years ago they wanted it taken off the county maintenance, and they got it off the county maintenance, but now they want it back on.
So a little history on the road, educate me, and anybody in attendance, please speak up. So this road was a county road all the way back to where we're basically doing it now. And at some point, somebody came before court and asked for that to be removed.
Yes.
And it was removed and came back to where it is currently. And now we're here today
because they
See,
want
this
it
is,
back
this is
on.
my point. This is my point, guys.
Do you know
We
when
should
that, well, you
really,
know
really,
exactly
really
when that
study
happens? I
about
mean, I did try to
roads
research
all-
whether or not,
It was around the time of my mother's death, I believe, 2008.
the only thing I could find is where this road was added, and it was actually added at a much longer length back in the 80s. But I didn't have any luck finding anything about removal. I actually tried to look that up, and I couldn't find action. And according to the dates, you said it would have been during the time that you were on court, actually. But it would have been in the late 2000s.
Barry Joe knows
I'm
about
gonna
it.
tell you
I know,
that
but I
I
just-
vaguely remember removing Markham Lane off of the county road system. I vaguely remember.
I may be opening a can of worms here. Do we know who asked for the removal?
And who was that?
I believe it was the Markhams.
So Markham asked.
Is that correct?
Did y'all ask to have the road removed off county?
So who asked for the
That was
removal?
my understanding.
That was actually one reason Logan started making people place on the record who requested it, because there were a couple of these
Right.
where roads were removed, time passed,
Yeah.
and nobody knew why it was requested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please come forward. Can you give him a chance to set up front mic, please? Thank you.
Hello, I'm Cheryl. This is Freddie Marco. And our farm's been in our family for about 150 years. That farm's, that county road at one time went all the way to Buena Vista. And probably 70 years ago, it stopped at our property line. Mr. Markham died probably 15 years ago or so.
1995.
And we inherited it. It was split. Another family owns the back side of the farm. And on the deed, it has a right-of-way.
Easement.
An easement. It's not a right-of-way, it's an easement.
To go to her property.
It starts at our gate. Only the landowners back there are allowed access to that farm through our gate. When we decided to move over there, build a house, we moved over there, had a lot of bulldozing done, a lot of work done, and we asked about maintaining the road again. And they said, well, it was taken off. And I said, we said, when? No one, even the county clerk at that time, could find no record of it being taken off. It had just stopped being maintained from her barn to our gate. So at that time, we asked, could we have it put back onto the county, or the county start maintaining it again? At that time, there was a different judge, and we had a different magistrate. There was a conflict of interest. He was leasing all of this farm from them to our road, and they did not want the road. So it just died. Well, we've got new court members now, and maybe, listen to us now, because what happened when they took that county road off, they deadlocked our farm, which is against Kentucky statutes. You're not allowed to do that.
Is there not an easement going back there to it?
Now it is.
It is an easement, so really they're not landlocking if they put an easement back there.
Right.
Okay.
But
I just want to clarify that.
But at one time it wasn't.
Okay, and I understand it, but
There's
now
always
it's an
been an
easement. Please give him a chance to talk, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And she's right, it was an easement, but it was a private easement. And we wanted it made back to the public because we were being harassed coming back there. They inherited the farm, and it was put on the deed as a public access then, not an easement. But the reason we want it put back on is because we have no access to it, and we've been told by attorneys that eventually that public easement could stop and then we would be stuck again. So we want it permanently put back onto the county road. Another reason is maintenance. The landowners that own this property do not maintain it. One time, the other owner put some gravel on it. And then this past spring, we put some gravel on it and they gave us $300. At that time, it cost $2,000. This past week, 3 weeks ago, we talked to the supervisor, we talked to the magistrate about getting it put back onto the county road. They said, well, you need to put 2 tiles in. We did that. We stayed on the 50-foot right-of-way. We did not get on anybody's property to do that. We spent $4,000 of our own money. So we're maintaining this road that we don't even have legal access to, basically. We've always maintained this road for the past 10 years. There's 4 families that live on this road. From the part that they took off to our house, to our farm, is 4 other families. Connie owns part of it. There's 2 families that live in one house and us. So, there's a lot of usage on this road and no one's maintaining it. Kelly's been out there, Chris has been out there. There's very sharp curves you cannot see. So my husband has been mowing about 2 mower widths on both sides so that we can see there's children that live in one of those houses. There are trees this big around right on the edge of one of those sharp curves. So we have to mow so we can see. After we another reason we want on the county is to stop all this bickering. If it's county, there's no, well, this is mine, this is hers, this is his. It won't be any more of this bickering. We've been stopped in the middle of the road, so we couldn't pass. We've had visitors chased off the road. We've had visitors followed by these people. Freddie, we've got pictures and video. They took their vehicle and made ruts this deep in this new gravel all the way down. Divots.
Her car drags now.
My car drags. It's all scratched up in the front now. We have pictures if anyone wants to see. We have a video of Connie physically coming to our gate, spinning tires, backing up, spinning all the way down. This harassment's got to stop, and I think if it's put on public or county road again, it won't be, I own this, you can't get over here, he said, she said stuff.
I have a video if you want to watch the video.
I don't
No,
need to see
that
it.
sounds like civil stuff, nothing that the county needs to be dealing with. There either is or is not an easement according to the plat, according to what I've been hearing, there is an easement. It doesn't have to be a publicly held easement. An easement can be for set individuals or anybody. It could be a utility easement. I am not a lawyer, so y'all need to handle that in civil court, but I can tell you I am not prepared to vote one way or the other. Sounds like there's a lot of history going on there. I would like to know who made the request and when that request was made to be taken off the county road system and why. That would help me determine whether or not I'm taking it back on. I have harsh feelings about you spending the taxpayers' money to keep something up for you, and then 1 year, 2 years, 20 years, 50 years later, ask it to be removed. That should not be done lightly. It was done. If it's prior to this 17 years that I've been on, it was either Curtis Watkins or Ronald Starks who made that request. That would be public knowledge. We may need to do a little more investigation, but I'm telling you, I'm not prepared to deal with that, and I'm not going to put it back on the road system until I understand why it was taken off in the first place.
We brought it up.
We're not, we're not getting in the middle of a dispute between property owners. Does this serve the public? Does it meet the needs? And should it be put back on? That's the end of our thought process that it should be done. And then we need to address, if we're going to put it back on, before we do, we need to know when, where, and how a turnaround could be placed. And I don't think we have that answer.
We brought this up in court about 10 years ago. We came back, and Tom Noe was the county attorney at that time. And he said it sounded like it was still a county road because they could not find any.
There wasn't any public notice or anything of it.
One thing that has come up in the past is apparently, was it on the county like a long time ago, like 80s?
We found it on the county on a map in 1992.
If it was on in 92, there should be something that takes it off after that. I was going to say 92 was a year where there are roads that were on before 92, and then the legislature had us pass like this big road map, and so some roads came off, which probably was a good thing at the time because there were roads that maybe shouldn't have been added on, but 92 is kind of the starting point of what my understanding, because that was well before my time. That was basically right when Tom got started. But if roads came off before 92, it might be that there isn't anything, because if they weren't on that accepted one then, but if it was on in 92.
They adopted like just a one mass thing. Here are your roads, here's how many feet there are, here's state, county, and city, and the county adopted, again, it's way before my time, but we run into that every now and then. Well, this is a county road, it's always been a county road. We can't see where y'all took it off. But if you go back to that motion that was made in 1992 that adopted officially, these are our roads, and then everything from 92 moving forward should be pretty clear. But that was your benchmark in 92.
So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, request was made just like we normally, this is normal procedures that, if we have a plat, which we do, that states, there is a 50-foot right-of-way that can be it. So it's set up to be maintained by the county like all the other roads we take over. The magistrate of that area went out, checked it, met with the people that wanted to put on. Next step is what we always do, is he got with Kelly, and Kelly told the area owners or the people that live back there what they had to do to bring it up to spec in order for it to be a county road or to be brought on a county road. That was done. Kelly has since passed it that it can be a county road after the work is done. I don't have a problem with it going on the county just because we have followed the procedure like we normally do. Just like whenever I've asked for roads to be put on,
So question, and I'm just asking because I don't know. Don't anybody get their feelings hurt with me because this ain't my road. I ain't got a dog in the spot. Okay? When somebody makes that request, and what I'm hearing and understanding, there had to be some tile work done on Connie's property.
No, it was done in the public right in the 50-foot area.
There's an easement for 50 foot. It's still on her property.
I don't know that.
She owns that property.
Because
it's a public.
That's a public, it's dedicated to the public, and that's good enough for us to take it on.
So we can go out there and put tile on somebody's property that don't want it there.
It's not private property.
Well, we couldn't do that because it was private property, but you can go out there to access the road. But I mean, the way that's written, That's a public
Or
right
it
of
went
access.
across the road? Is that what you're saying? It went across Markham
It's
Lane?
perpendicular type.
Perpendicular, it's a perpendicular type?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was a parallel ditch type. It's not a parallel ditch type.
It's for
That
drainage,
makes
it's for
sense.
drainage.
Yeah.
Just carrying from one side to the other.
Okay, perpendicular type. I thought y'all were talking about a
Driveway tile.
driveway type.
Thomas, I want to tell you too, I mean, I did some research on Markham Road as far as just trying to learn what I could. And there was an action taken in the early 80s where the road was added to the county road. The action taken there had a length that was much greater than the actual current road. So I don't know if that's a discrepancy or at one time it was, like she said, might have gone all the way to Buena Vista. I don't know.
It did.
But I then went back because it was said that this section was taken off. I asked Karen to look for that in action. She wasn't able to. It's not to say it doesn't exist. She couldn't find the record of it. But it might have just been, it just might have been because he,
Probably done.
well, I was talking about, she had mentioned like it being about 15 years ago, but I don't know.
My wife even talked to the engineer that did all this surveying on the roads, and,
When they did, it was 2006 where they redid all the maps in Logan County. And what happened was, and I talked to the engineers that came out and surveyed the roads. And they surveyed all they could. Well, when it came to Connie's barn, at one time that was a separate farm. So they had a gate right there. And that was not maintained. It was still county road, but at one time they had cattle and stuff in there. Well, the gate came down. Well, when the state came out to survey the road, it looked like a private road, so they stopped it right there. And they asked the magistrates to take a look at it, to double check, to make sure everything was okay. And Curtis Watkins signed off on it. But it wasn't okay. That's when we brought it up to the court, that there was still, more county road that was not on this map. So that's how it got removed, is
Tyler's right. Chris made the request. That's right.
Chris, when did you contact me about this?
No, I did not talk to you about it. No.
Didn't think so. Thank y'all for your time.
I mean, just to answer, I mean, that's what I replied to the people that asked for it.
But
And I
so
knew that
you
you had
don't,
two, but I
don't talk
talked
to any of the other
residents.
landowners?
Well, like I said, I talked to the large family. I talked to Tina back in May, actually. You know, just informally, just, you know, hey, that had been brought up. Do you have any, you know, objections to it? And she didn't express any.
Okay. There's two sides to the road.
I understand.
Thank y'all.
All right. We've heard,
I make a motion to add a total of 1,130 feet of Markham Road to be maintained by the...
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion from the court? If none, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Would you,
Golden.
She didn't hear me.
Well, after my own circumstance, I have a question about
You're
doing
gonna-
this now.
you're gonna-
But I'll say yes or no. Okay, yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Baker,
yes. But with that being said, it sounds like there is a lot of civil issues that need to be resolved between the families, and I really wish they would have settled those before they brought that to court. Thank you. Number 8, approve budgeting contribution to the Logan County Tobacco Festival for the fiscal year 23-24 in the amount of $10,000. This was the amount that was appropriated for that.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Have any other discussion?
No.
If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Number 9, hold the second reading of ordinance number 23-210-02, amending the county administrative code in section of chapter 5, procurement policy and code, amending bid and award procedures. That's basically bringing our limit to 40,000 from 30,000.
Well, we actually wrote it in a way that we don't have to amend it every time it changes to.
Even better.
Yeah, the maximum allowed by state.
Perfect, thank you.
Make a motion that we approve the second reading of the threshold for bidding to match what the statutory threshold is in KRS 424-260.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Have any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Number 10, discuss nomination for East Logan Water District Commission. After meeting with this gentleman, Mr. Tim Taylor, I've decided to appoint him with your blessing.
Did you say Tim Taylor?
Tim Taylor.
Yes.
So
Tim.
moved.
Second, Tim Taylor.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Abstain.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Number 11, surplus the 2010 Ford E350 ambulance Med 10 inventory unit 02232 at the Logan County Ambulance Service, and remove these items from the Logan County Ambulance inventory list. This was the unit that went to have the new box put on it. It had a blown engine, and there's nothing left of it, basically.
Right.
So we're going to remove it from inventory.
Where's it going?
Staying up there. The
we-
cost to bring it back to recycle it is going to be more
That's
than.
the one we had hauled to Pennsylvania?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Motion to surplus inventory number 02232.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion?
No.
If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Item number 12, approve the addition, deletion of Logan County Fiscal Court capital asset listing for fiscal year June 30th, 2020, as required by Auditor of Public Accounts.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, a second.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Number 13, discuss Ferguson Road project. Chris, would you like to discuss this?
Yeah, if you see in your packet there, I had a constituent ask about fixing an issue where we're having ponding going on the side of the road, but it sort of sits in a sag, one of the road, but then also the embankment and turn into this shop area, if you see there on that attachment. You can almost see the wet spot there on the edge of the road, even in this Google Earth picture. I met with Kelly and Scotty's back in the spring, trying to come up with a remedy to do it with paving, and honestly, just not practical, and what I felt sort of was a waste of money to try to invert the road to just basically have a cross slope from one to the other. So I asked Kelly about the possibility of us putting in a drop box inlet on the edge of the road with a grate, and asked if that's something that the county could do or need to be bid out. And Kelly said that would be something we need to hire it out to do. So I put together this bid package, if you will, of what we're proposing, and I'm asking the court for permission to advertise for this work.
How are you paying for it?
Well, I guess I pay for it out of my road funds money, I would assume. I'm estimating this is going to be between $5,000 and $10,000.
Jaws look good. You can't read them.
Just what you do.
So anyway, basically, I guess making a motion to request permission to advertise this work.
And to allow you to pay for it with your...
And to pay for it with the road fee.
Second.
Jason's road fee.
I have a motion and a second. There's no, we have any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Number 14, discuss quotes for monitoring equipment at the emergency communication towers. Excuse me, that took a mouthful. Basically, what it's boiled down to is 2 times now. We have had the air conditioners go out on the tower sites up on Reservoir Hill, and it has shut our radio equipment down. So what we're wanting to do is add equipment to monitor that, monitor temperatures, monitor cameras at all sites. Basically, we're going to put equipment out at all of our tower sites to monitor cameras, equipment to monitor when doors are open, temperature, and there's several other things that we're discussing that we want to get monitored, basically, so if something happens, we know immediately versus waiting for equipment to shut down. We want to know with the cameras, we want to know who's up there and what they're doing.
The budget, we got the money to pay for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ginger said if she doesn't have the money, she'll pay for it herself.
Oh, right. Man, I know you had all that overtime you was working at one time.
No, I'm kidding. Yes, the money's there in her budget for this.
And then the room alert stuff, is that all cost included? The $1,433.02? Does that cover all costs?
God's going to tell us.
The room alert is, it has more sensors available. That cost is strictly for the door and the temperature, and I think that was...
Smoke and fire.
And the smoke.
Fire.
All right. The room alert actually has sensors that can detect the current flow from, we can put it on the generator, we can put it on the main power, we can put it on the UPS, so we know what's active and when. It also has toxic sensors that can go into the fuel tank, so we know what the fuel level is on the generators. Obviously, the power sensors will let us know whether or not the generator kicked on and is providing power, or are we running off the battery backup.
I think smoking door is a good place to start.
It's a great place to start, and the other sensors are very reasonable.
Yeah, definitely the temperature.
Yeah.
Definitely, temperature will tell you a lot. You know?
The temperature will tell us as much as we need to know. Like I said, the air conditioning unit has shut down our radio systems twice now, and
Yeah.
it's very alarming.
And we'll,
The current sensors that are out there, I've gotten in touch with the company who has that in place. The computer that takes the readings and alerts is running Windows 7. Their solution was a forklift because they don't support this system anymore. That should be in there as well. Excuse me. I think it worked out to be somewhere between $11,000 and $12,000 a year for 3 years for their system.
yeah, we don't want that.
So, whereas the room alert, and the one thing that the current system does that room alert doesn't do yet is the SWR meter, which would help Derek tremendously.
we can leave the other system in place to do that. But Room Alert has expressed an interest in working with us on developing a sensor for that.
Did you by chance get us other quotes on this?
I did get one. Let me grab my quote real quick.
Does Room Alert have a yearly cost or anything like that? Reoccurring? Just one time?
It's just one time. I did get another quote from CDW. It was for $2,521.72, and it was a APC solution. They have an environmental monitoring system, and this included the smoke, temperature and humidity, and I think their room entry is kind of more of a infrared, so once somebody enters the room, it would alert. So, but it is.
So we're looking at $1,433.02. And then what?
So you don't have to subscribe to a monitoring system?
You don't have to. It has a built-in system. They do have a subscription base, but it's not something we have to subscribe to.
Does it have to have like an annual testing and calibration or anything?
No.
I'm sort of thinking along the lines of fire panels.
Right. I mean, obviously, it's something we would want to test, but not to my knowledge.
I make a motion to approve the quote from CDWG for a total of $4,702.08 for the purchase of the cameras and equipment associated with the cameras. Then we need to do the other one separately. It's a different company and different. Who wants to do them? They want to do that.
Let's just do it separate, just to be sure.
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Goodwin.
Yes.
Hillcutt.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Crawford. Yes. Colvin.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Need a motion for the second part of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Make a motion to accept the quote from Room Alert for a total of $1,433.02 for the tower sites to monitor the environment.
Second.
I have a motion and a second by someone on this side. No other discussion. Roll call, please.
How many sites is that?
Three sites.
So is this?
Well, that is just one. That is one unit. So if we're going to put that at all three sites, we need to triple that price.
Well, I think we need to do it at the Russellville site for now, because that's.
Yeah.
Let's get that one and then
let's get that.
Let's get the Russellville site done, then we'll.
Logan telephone site's Fort Knox anyway. You got to call somebody to get buzzed in and everything else. So.
Right. I don't think we have a problem with that site. I think it's mostly Lewisburg. We have.
This
is for
Reservoir Hill.
Reservoir Hill.
Right.
And then cameras,
So we make sure that Derek as well can have access to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a deal where it's coming, the tests will come into both of our phones, like it's in an email. Tests and everything, they'll come right to us.
Sure.
So, right now, I've finally gotten access back to the current system.
I got you.
And I reconfigured it to send emails to me and her, an email to Derek, and it also texts Derek.
Who can you text me?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be a whole lot easier.
She don't check her emails, what she's trying to tell you.
Yeah, I know she doesn't. Believe me, I know she doesn't.
I have to log on to my email, text is automatically going to make it.
I know.
I have a motion and a second. There's no,
I said in one vote.
and one vote.
Did I vote already?
You sure did.
Because I started and then I started.
Oh.
So we're going to continue with the roll call.
Goodwin,
Yes.
That's,
Yes.
Harper,
that's the.
Yes.
Worked out to be
Yes.
11,000,
Nolan,
12,000.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
No,
Thank you, Scott.
that's from the old.
Next up, approve to update the ARPA procurement code, changing the bid threshold from $30,000 to $40,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion.
What's this, in regards to, like?
Specifically the ARPA funds.
ARPA, yes. Basically, we're just,
Which ours is already gone.
well,
Yeah, you're right. Everybody's bid all, we don't have to rebid it.
Right.
There's nothing that we have to get approved because those contracts are already done. You know what I'm saying?
I have a
We have no
motion.
more money to bid or
Right.
anything like that.
We've already
So
got
it's just
it.
technicality.
I guess one question, Judge, just, do we need to make that similar language about the procurement to match in that statute, or?
I don't know that this money will be around long enough that it will really matter, and I think with what Thomas is saying, the money's already spoken for,
There's
so.
no money left to spend, so you would technically won't ever do this. All $5.2 million is gone.
What if you get some?
What if you get some of it, what if you get some of it back?
We'll talk.
Maybe not. You know, technically, it's all spoken for.
Technically, at this point, it all spoken.
I mean, I just wondered, we used that logic a while ago.
When we first got the ARPA money, we had
I
to
mean,
have a plan.
maybe, but I think ultimately it's a short
You don't think
term.
it's gonna change
Yeah.
that quick before we gotta
Right.
send the money?
Okay, I have a motion and a second, I do believe. If there's no further discussion, roll call.
Chris keeps asking questions, man, you know.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 16, approve the updated Logan County Fiscal Court cafeteria plan and all supporting forms that have been produced by McGregor and Associates, Inc. You want to help with that one?
The reason why we're doing this is because, the language in there read that, like if you had 50 cents left in your FSA, then that 50 cents rolled over to the next year. And it cost us $4.25 a month to maintain the 50 cents. So they put language in here that if you have less than $5 in there, then it is forfeited. That way we're not paying $4.50 or 25 cents a month.
For a pizza.
And this person may literally never spend that 50 cents, so we might do that for years. So it's not worth our county taxpayer dollars to pay $4.25 a month for 50 cents.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right, that concludes our new business. We have no reason to go into executive session, but I do have one item for a post-agenda. I apologize for taking the time to put this together the last minute, but I did, and it's for me. We talked about the vehicle. We put it out for a bid for the judge's vehicle. I've got 3 bids here, and I'm just looking for an opportunity to purchase one.
No. No.
You didn't like the Rolls Royce? Come on. They're all as close to the same vehicle as I can find. And they're well below
Which one did you prefer? Which quote did you,
the lowest.
the lowest?
The lowest price is the one that I'm making a recommendation for.
They all pretty close to the same truck, and the same thousands of miles. Shoes, yeah, I think.
All three are Fords, huh? So it's, so they're all used.
Yes, sir. Every one of them are used. They're all below 60,000 miles and all meet the same qualifications.
You can't bring up here. I was just realizing that was only them. I realized when I saw both of y'all laugh.
I didn't hear what he said.
Doing the
It was
best I
funny.
can.
You would have
Doing the
laughed.
best I can.
So he wants the 33,000.
Yes. This is the cheapest on the list.
Spend it on my phone. Does he want it or does he need it?
Yes.
Oh, both.
Yes to both questions.
Yes. Yeah, some of the places that I've had to go,
that's where I was.
do not think it would be a wise idea.
Ball's in your hand, Thomas. Hold us up.
Make a motion to approve the purchase to Toyota of Murray for vehicle for Judge Executive for 2020 Ford F-150,
20 what?
2020.
There you go. Okay. I thought you said 2024, and I was like, wait a minute. No.
2020 Ford F-150.
Thank you.
For the total of purchase price of $33,789.
We also need to add,
And to make
And to make necessary transfers from Phil Baker's account.
that's fine.
In authorized payment.
Unauthorized payment.
Second.
There we go. If there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Baker.
No, just kidding, yes. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Thank you, I appreciate it. Is there anything else on post agenda?
Yes, I got one thing.
Please,
We discussed it, but just
yes.
trying to bring the rest of the board up to base on the process of how that works. And I'm learning as well, because I've only done it once or twice in 17 years. We have a subdivision that's prior to some of the newer subdivision regulations where the street lights, the developer pays for the street light bill. So if you got a security light at your house, you probably pay the bill. So there, I don't forget how many's in Stonewall subdivision, but they are wanting, the developer, it states in the thing, once he sells 10 houses, he no longer has to pay for the street lights. And so that's, I mean, that was 20 years ago, probably 15 years ago, there's been more than that has been done. So he's finally said, I'm not paying the street light bill anymore. End of September, they're going off. Obviously, Stonewall subdivision wants to keep the street lights, so there's a provision that in our subdivision things that you can request that go on the property tax bill. You make that request, it lists every single lot in that subdivision. You get with the utility company that does that bill. They give you a estimation of the cost, and they'll tell the sheriff you need to put $11.38 on the property tax bill. And then when that is collected, it goes to the proper utility company, and that's paid. So they're making that request. I know Joe has been working on that, but I don't know where we stand.
I mean, I just got it late last week in terms of able to look at it. I'm a little concerned about the timing of it with the tax bills going out relatively soon, and then the fact that the sheriff's in conference this week, but ultimately...
Nobody's expecting to be on this tax bill.
Okay, because the issue is we've got to prepare some sort of a document that meets requirements to file in the clerk's office, because similar to what we were talking about with the other one, these provisions are going to run with the land, meaning that once this is done, it's going to be forever, and it's going to be on the tax bill. And two things with the ordinance that was passed. One, it requires 100%, I think, of all those landowners signing off on it, so that could take some time. And then the statute and the ordinance differ. The ordinance was written in a way that it expects that we don't put any of the money up, and that basically the tax money goes to the utility company. The statute would contemplate that we pay that and then we get the money back. That makes more sense to me, because I can't really see a utility company waiting until that happens. So I would be operating under the assumption that the fiscal court fronts the money and then we get the money from the taxes. But
So if I were to add a street
it's only
to
for
my house, I would just, that penny route would just add to my bill.
Correct.
So why is that not done this way?
Well, because it runs, in the road, it's on the road, and it may be one here on the corner, most of them are right
it's
in
not
the
going to be
corner.
per house. It's going to be
So
the shared
it'd be a
cost.
property line. It would be like 4 different houses sharing that. Right.
It'll be all the owners on
And
there
the
sharing.
developer who owns the empty lots would be paying his portion, but right now, he just cuts them off,
And I think we're talking about $3,600 a year.
Yeah, it's $3,600
So I mean,
a year.
that's spread out over all those people.
the entire,
Probably
all the
close to
property.
100, I don't know exactly, 80 to 100 lots in Stonewall. And the, developer has been more than generous. He should have cut them off 10 years ago.
Correct.
He'd had $36,000 in his pocket if he'd have cut them off 10 years ago, as he could have, but he didn't want to do that. But he doesn't live here anymore. He lives in Georgia, and he still probably takes care of the property, keeps them mowed. Stonewall is a very nice subdivision. Y'all been out there, good streets. And, he's just like, I just can't keep on doing this. And he said in September, so a property owner representing, I can't say he's representing all of them, but I can't imagine there being anybody out there that doesn't,
Do we do this anywhere else?
Well, I don't know that we do, but do we have?
Well, that's my question. This will then be a precedent
Yes.
going forward.
Well,
we've done it before.
if I'm not
I don't
mistaken, it's got to be
remember
wrote
seeing it, so it
in,
would-
it's got to be wrote into when they develop it, correct?
No, there's two. There's a provision for existing.
Okay.
And then there's provisions for new ones. It would be really nice if the new ones would go ahead and do it, because you're just dealing with one property owner.
Correct.
But it's been on the books since 2003. I don't remember ever doing it since I've been here, and that was 2010.
Boyce Cole and Roger Martin and Hal Duncan came before us. And I don't remember which subdivision it was, but they did a subdivision and we voted on it.
It's surprising that we don't have more of it, but
That's what
I
my
don't
question
recall
was.
it. That's all.
There's been a problem with that.
So like
And-
Dakota Lane, who pays those, Tyler, do you know?
I think each
You got
homeowner has,
Dakota Lane.
I think each homeowner, if they want us light, they pay for it.
I think
thought
that
there
was.
I thought they had street lights. There's no street lights.
I think mine is that way, because honestly, I don't want the lights, and I don't like it when they get added. So.
Yeah, okay, I got you. So, yeah, I mean, if it takes 100%, it takes 100%.
That's the way it was written, and I think it's good, because you are talking about something, an instrument that is meant to run with the property, so that we don't have people coming back and complaining that I didn't agree to this.
What was, you was asking the county to pay for the?
No, I wasn't asking for anything, just to enact this provision that's
Yeah.
already on the books. But it sounds like they need to do the subdivision at the HOA. There is an HOA out there. The HOA needs to get with all the property owners, and I guess.
What I was envisioning for the first one is, that's why I'm envisioning it might take some time for basically me to try to develop some sort of form that we're going to use that is good with us, try to see somewhat with getting at least getting with the PVA to get all the plats that are on there so that they know who they've got to get, and then giving it to them to get all the signatures necessary. my biggest thing was one, just, it sounds like you're okay that this might be a little bit of a time intensive process, but then also, I don't see how we ask the utility companies to wait until the taxes are collected to pay it. They're gonna want it monthly, so the only way I see it works is we front the money and then we take the reimbursement.
If a future homeowner buys a house out there and says, I don't want to pay that.
They're bound by the recording of it in the clerk's office.
Just like all the other.
So as part of the purchase of the house,
Yes,
you're going to be
but
paying
basically by
secretary
filing it
regardless.
down there, it's envisioned that
Yeah, sounds like it.
those provisions run with the property, meaning they, you bought and paid for when you signed the deed.
So yeah, it sounds like I'll make a formal request after we get
Yeah.
the signatures of the property owners, and I haven't talked to all of them, but I'll give it back to the HOA and I'll tell them to go to work. Get the signatures and maybe wait for a form from,
Yeah.
you provide us with a form.
Maybe just have them call my office to have a contact number, and when it's ready, I'll get with them.
I'll give that to you. It's Galen Ball.
Okay.
He is the
Just get it to me.
chairman.
I've got his
HOA.
number. We've got his number. It's on that paperwork I gave you.
Okay.
So
If you don't, I've got it. Just text me.
I'm not sure that Post-it note survives, so I might need to
I
get
think,
it.
yep.
I thought he was
I'll
going
get
to
it
be
for
here
you.
today.
Yeah, he did. He came by and saw me, and I was working on it when.
Okay.
Judge, you need any feedback on that letter, or are you just sharing that's what you're going to
That letter, yeah, I'm glad you said that. That letter is just the preliminary letter. I'm not sure exactly. I'm gonna get with Thomas and Tyler and possibly Nathan to see exactly who to send it to. That's just the letter that I've left with you. It's the letter I intend on sending. If you read over it and you've got anything you want to add, subtract, multiply, or divide, please send it to me. We're just not accepting square roots of anything right now. Is there anything else for post agenda? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, sit there for a while.